This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody, guys and girls? Welcome back to another edition of the SmackDown Review right here on the WWE Podcast. As always, I'm one of the hosts of the show, Michael Ritter. You can find me on Twitter, Michael5Ritter, and also one of the hosts of the Football Function Podcast, available on the Patreon app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. Joining me on today's episode, per usual, to review the SmackDown that took place on May 19, 2023, my humble co-host, John Carrasco. Juicy Jonathan. You can find him on Twitter at Big Speaker, BIGG_Speaker. John, how we doing?
Oh, man, I am pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I do feel like I am kind of out of the mix of what's been going on.
Out of the loop a little bit,
yeah.
huh?
I mean, it feels weird just missing a week, and then coming back and you're like, oh, dang,
For sure.
Like, get everything in your head and stuff. But other than that, man, it's been a good week, Can't really complain about it other than... I guess you could say work-wise, but man, I'm here, ready to knock this thing out.
And I didn't want to experience that same thing. I'm not going to be able to finish SmackDown with you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit of something we're going to have to talk about here. The Celtics play at 7:30 Central Time. Mm-hmm. SmackDown starts at 7, obviously. So I'm here to open up the show with John. We just watched the opening segment. It's another live review here for the SmackDown Review. Great opening segment, great way to start the show. But the reason why I'm not going to be playing, obviously, because the Celtics play 7:30. I just mentioned that. And, I mean, look at what I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah. You should see this guy's whole uniform right here.
I'm ready to come up off the bench.
I walked into Funky Town, and it was pretty funky up here.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that for sure. Game 2 against the Miami Heat. I have to watch this. I mean, Eastern Conference Finals. Your team may not get here every year. As much as I love the SmackDown review, I'll be able to catch up on SmackDown. And luckily we have you here that can, hold down the fort for us. But, so just a little bit of a preface. I do have a bit of an early dismissal, if you will. Has that getting out of school early on a Friday feeling.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess let's not waste much more time since we are somewhat limited on time. This SmackDown aired, like I mentioned, it's airing on May 19th, 2023 from Columbia, South Carolina. I will say today, just in preparation for, the wrestling shenanigans I knew I was going to take place, I listened to the mailbag and I also listened to the WWE Retro episode, which was a really good one. It covered the 2004 WWE Draft, which is, you want to talk about one of the best episodes of Monday Night Raw of all time? This is the one. It wouldn't even hurt you to just jump ahead. If you feel like just, hey, I want to watch a badass episode of Raw, March 22nd, 2004, I believe is when it was.
Okay.
It's fresh in my mind. Heard it today. Yeah, heard it today on the show. Thanks to Anthony DeMarco and the phenomenal job he did with the sound bites. It'll make you want to go watch it, legitimately. And it was just, in my head, I was just remembering all the moments live and in real time whenever I witnessed it. So definitely go check that out. Shout out to Anthony DeMarco and WWE Retro. And then listen to the mailbag. I want to say shout out to New York Kyle. He had a little bit of a rough Mother's Day for multiple reasons. I just want to give him a shout out. Hope everything's going well and you're feeling better.
Shout out.
And a lot of people were really, talking about the brand split. That's one thing I noticed. They were really heavy on, hey, I want to see this brand split be a hard one, and be really, I guess, strong to their rules. I want to see WWE follow their rules. And I like seeing so many of our fellow WWE podcast listeners agree with that and kind of be on the same pace and we're all in sync. So let's all do what we can. Even if that means blowing up WWE. Let's make sure that they, number one, stay true to the brand split. Number two, bring back the colored ropes for each show. Just come on. I think it's beyond time to do that. But nonetheless, I thought it was a very good episode of the mailbag. So shout out to everybody who called. And yeah, Matt's new rules. Hey, I'm not lying. You guys gotta keep it nice and short on the mailbag. He doesn't want you guys to talk for only 20 seconds or anything like that. But sending him several emails, several voicemails, just as somebody who has to do this podcast production stuff when it comes to editing and all that stuff, he doesn't just snap his fingers and put that stuff in there in the right spots and all that. It actually takes a lot of work. So yeah, just keep that in mind whenever you are sending, long emails and multiple voicemails and all that good stuff. But apparently Matt is changing the format on the mailbag, which I feel like is a little bit overdue in my personal opinion. But I do enjoy it nonetheless, and shout out to everybody who has participated in that. But yeah, let's go and talk about this SmackDown, shall we, before I have to get downstairs, which I'm probably about to here very soon. But we can talk about the opening segment, which was Roman Reigns coming to the, I'm not even really too worried about what's going on the screen. And now it's Pretty Deadly. They are earlier today, they had a little bit of a cooking shtick going on. I don't know. They're backstage. He's mixing something, stirring it up. Probably nothing in that pot, whatever. We'll get back in that. But either way, Roman Reigns opens the show with Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. First thing I noticed was that new shirt that he had with the goat little animal graphic. That was pretty cool. As he gets to the ring after his 4-minute entrance or whatever, the crowd is chanting, "You suck," before Roman Reigns even gets a chance to say a word. Once he does get the mic, he reminds them that that's not how they start things off here. And then he tells them to acknowledge him. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out instantly. Roman tells them also to acknowledge him. And when they're done, they can go ahead and drop off those titles and see themselves out. Kevin Owens says, you know what, what's the point in talking? He doesn't literally say that, but he figuratively says that by just dropping the championship, dropping his mic. And him and Solo basically have to be held back from each other by Roman and Sami Zayn before things get a little bit physical. Roman says, look, your fight, Owens' fight, right? You're not here to talk. You're only here to fight, whatever. We're not here to talk to you anyways. We're here to talk to Sami Zayn. And then Roman says that in his extremely impressive career, referring to himself, his only regret is wasting his time on Sami Zayn. And then Sami chimes in and says that his only regret is that he didn't hit him with that steel chair sooner. And then Sami also says that Roman has been spoiled his whole life, but at Night of Champions, that's not going to be the case, and they will not be taking their tag team championships from him because they're simply not as good as they are. And for that matter, they're not even as good as the Usos, according to Sami Zayn. And the Usos, coincidentally, did sneak up behind Sami and KO right then and attacked them from behind. And Roman Reigns actually did not like that at all. He actually very angrily walks away, and as he's walking away, he bumps up into Solo Sikoa, which they didn't do that for nothing, I'll tell you that. The way Solo reacted, that was something to definitely keep note of. We go to commercial break, they come back, we get a little bit of a backstage interaction. Roman questions why they keep saying we. They're saying, we did this for us, we this, we that. Roman says, what is all this we? It sounds like you guys are talking about yourself. He continues to jump down their throat, literally screaming at them for interrupting him before he was finished saying whatever he had to say to Sami Zayn. And then just demands that they get out. He screams at him, tells them to get out. This was pretty good. A pretty good way to start SmackDown and take up about the first 20 minutes of the show, especially with no wrestling or anything like that. Just, a pure segment. I actually enjoyed that, just, from my perspective. But what'd you think about the way that the show opened? And obviously, what happened with Roman Reigns?
Well, right off the back, you get Roman Reigns, good little pop, I guess you could say. Like you said, some boos, nasty boos, I guess you could say. But other than that, man, I felt like it was just smooth, like everything that kind of happened didn't feel like there was any like hiccups in it, so on both sides of this, they're playing this story out to where it's just so interesting to watch that it's, like you said, 20 minutes went by and I didn't even realize it,
Yeah.
It's just something that's kind of just flowing right now, so I'm all for it. Of course, I don't know. The only thing that popped out to me, it looked like they're tanned, like Usos, face is all kind of like bright and stuff.
They do look
like
a little bit darker.
I was just kind of weird. I wouldn't say weird, but something that popped out to me, I guess you could say. But other than that, man, like I said, they're doing their job, and the whole Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns shoulder bump right there, yeah, I'm picking up on probably what you're picking up too.
Yeah, some good stuff, some seeds being planted, if you will. Up next, or I guess right now going on in the show, we're currently in a commercial break, but Pretty Deadly, who we were just mentioning, had a little bit of a video package or just a promo, I guess. I don't know what the hell you call it. It's a highlight. I don't know. It's definitely slipping my mind right now. But they have a one-on-one match with the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Ridge Holland. I did notice that one of the Pretty Deadly members is bleeding from the nose, so I took a little bit of a hard shot. You're going to have to let me know how this match finishes because I'm going to have to head downstairs and hopefully watch my Celtics do the same thing that Butch and them are doing to Pretty Deadly. I need them to do that to the Miami Heat, except although I do probably expect Pretty Deadly to get the win, so I might have put myself in a little bit of a predicament there. We'll see what happens. But, John, appreciate you helping me out here and allowing me to go watch my boys play.
No doubt.
I know you're going to do your thing here. We're already about 10 minutes into the show, so, you can just continue rocking along, and I'll be, excuse me, paying attention to the Discord. The honorary host, Detroit Kyle and DJ Kuzma, have been doing a great job chatting along with us throughout these live reviews. But I'm going to go ahead and tune out. Thank you guys so much for listening. Excuse me. John's going to take it from here. I'm not even going to take that out. I don't even care.
Oh, yeah.
John's going to take it from here.
All good.
Yeah,
other than that, man.
Had to get it out before I, close the show.
I just want to say good luck on the game and everything
Thank
that.
you.
Hope y'all get y'all's dub. Definitely going to need it. Hopefully stay away from that Lakers era that's going on.
Oh,
or,
down 0-2?
Yeah.
At least they're on the road down 0-2. If we go down 0-2 at home,
Yeah.
definitely this might be my last SmackDown review if that's the case. But either way, thank you so much. I will talk to you guys next week. John's going to carry it from here, so I'm looking forward to hearing how the rest of the show goes.
And we're back to kind of wrap up this match between Brawling Brutes and Pretty Deadly. I kind of thought, Ridge, he was a little bit more, what would you say, in tune with his or his skills and everything like that. But unfortunately, Mike called it, Pretty Deadly. They get the dub here with the spilt milk. This is kind of new to me. I haven't really seen them too much or anything like that. Definitely not too much into the gimmick, I guess you could say. Kind of reminds me of like a knockoff Seth Rollins in a way, just with the type of clothes, outfits that they wear and everything like that. Yeah. But other than that, man, like I was saying, they get the Ridge Holland. That's a person that stands out to me always. I don't know if he's just getting better, but the little double slam where he had him on his back and then kind of just tossed him, that was kind of awesome to me. But other than that, yeah, we'll see what's going on right here and follow up. All right, but up next we get a match between Oscar and Zelina Vega. And of course, we get a little video package of showing what happened last week between Oscar and Bianca Belair when Oscar sprayed the mist into Bianca Belair's face. But other than that, we kind of go backstage with Kayla Braxton, and she also approaches Zelina Vega and basically kind of just wants or is trying to ask, but Zelina Vega ends up cutting her off and saying, you know what, Kayla, I already know what you're going to ask. And kind of just goes about saying that after the support that she received in Puerto Rico against her match with Bianca Belair, of course, she kind of felt like she took that in as she's able to compete with the top dogs of the women's division, as quoted, I guess you could say. And I can kind of see that. She's definitely small. Definitely not anything that you want to discredit, I guess you could say, but Rey Mysterio, good example. I feel like she's kind of in that same little situation right there. And of course, she exceeds the viewing aspect of it for me, I guess you could say. I feel like she performs her moves pretty good and everything like that, especially against a bigger person as in, I guess you could say, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley type stuff. But other than that, I just feel like she's kind of in that category with some of the top women. I agree with her. So yeah, we get the little turnaround. She is wearing a nice little robot mask, has the LWO on it and everything like that. It's pretty cool, I guess you could say. And just ends up going to the ring, does her little entrance and everything like that. And yeah, we're going to let this match follow or finish up, and I'll let you know what I think about it here in a bit. Well, for this one, I was not expecting the results of this match, but of course, Zelina Vega, she gets the L here. I was definitely thinking that she was going to get a dub, but Asuka, she ends up putting her in an Asuka lock, gets her to tap out, and like I said, definitely wasn't expecting this. Definitely was hoping get some momentum going behind Zelina Vega again, I guess you could say. But we do get Bianca Belair. She comes out, I guess, to be the savior here. This part of it, I get it, she is who she is, but the whole coming out to help everybody and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like it's kind of getting a little old in a way. I mean, like I said, definitely with some of the people that have been on the mailbag and everything like that, saying that Bianca becoming heel is something that they're waiting for, and I'm right there with you. So I guess you could say we're in that same little boat. But to end this little situation that happens, of course, Asuka, she tries to, well, it seems like it, but she ultimately kind of misses in a way, hits her with the mist again, but it seems to, like, I don't know, miss, get more of on like the clothes, I guess you could say, spotted on the face. And Asuka, I mean, of course, she's doing her little facial expressions, trying to say that, well, to me, the way that Wade Barrett said that she's in, or Asuka is in Bianca Belair's hair, I guess you could say. And I can kind of see that. I mean, I definitely feel like she's starting to get to her in a way, and that mist is definitely something that gets to her. Given what happened last week and everything, it looked like it was a pretty direct hit, I guess you could say. And yeah, definitely excited to see what kind of goes about from here. But in the end of this, man, I hope Zelina Vega kind of bounces back from this and, gets back on that winning trend, I guess you could say. But we're at a commercial break right now. See what's happening. Break it down for you here in a bit. And we are back, and following this, we do get the new face, I guess you could say, the new draft pick that we got and everything from NXT, I believe, and Grayson Waller. And, of course, he's introduced, has his little ring set up with his, like, Grayson Waller effect, I guess you could say, of the show. And definitely kind of threw me off. Didn't expect, like, the accent and everything like that from him, so that was definitely kind of cool. But other than that, I mean, felt like this was kind of like an NXT type thing. I have tuned in, seen some of their little promos that they got going on and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely kind of felt like that. And of course, he brings out AJ Styles, kind of gives him his flowers at first. This is kind of like one of those bittersweet moments, I guess you could say. And like I was saying, gives him his flowers, tells him basically like he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer and everything like that. And maybe at Night of Champions, there's going to be a possibility that he is able to add another accolade to his career, I guess you could say, if he wins the World Heavyweight Championship. So that would be kind of cool. But time just goes by, I guess you could say. And of course, Grayson, he kind of takes a shot and ends up saying that Seth Rollins is going to be the person that wins the title. And of course, this kind of like sets up a nice little feud between them. They get in each other's face. And to be honest, this kind of reminded me of a MMA face-off. They look at each other face to face, kind of give each other like those little stares and everything like that. So yeah, definitely the introduction to this guy kind of, I don't know, I can't really say that I'm with it or anything like that, but I mean, it's new, I guess you could say. Of course, he's a new face and everything like that, so definitely got to get used to him. But yeah, just the way that he kind of went about this, I mean, definitely I'd give him a round of applause. Kind of got him set up with a high component, I guess you could say, in AJ Styles. So definitely going to see how that turns out and everything like that. But we are moving into another part with the Street Profits, and of course, LA Knight came out, I guess you could say, see who his partner is and everything. So see how this one goes. Oh, actually, it's Rick Boogs. This is happening right now. Haven't seen him in a while, so that's kind of interesting. And of course, glad to see him back from his injury and everything like that. Of course, he still got the short hair. Kind of wish that he went back to like the overall look and everything like that. But other than that, man, these two as a tag team, yeah, definitely interested in this. See how this goes, and we'll be back. So yeah, in this match we get Rick Boogs, LA Knight versus Street Profits. And of course, I didn't expect the way the match was going. It came out pretty hot for Rick Boogs. He was kind of pressing Montez Ford, lifting Angelo Dawkins. I guess, kind of just showing off the the muscle, that we've kind of been used to with Rick Boogs and everything, given the body build, I guess you could say. Of course, I don't know if anybody's seen any of his videos where he works out. He does some massive weight, I guess you could say. So it's pretty impressive and everything like that. But for him to kind of, what would you say, press these guys like they're nothing weight wise, I guess you could say, that was pretty impressive. It kind of did get to that point to where he was just doing it so much that you were kind of like, okay, yeah, he needs to kind of switch it up. But for him just to be able to do that, I guess you could say, just ready to go type stuff, first, I wouldn't say first match, but for him just come back from injury and everything like that and him to go straight to that, like I said, it's pretty impressive and everything. But other than that, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, they end up getting some momentum going. There's some little bit of mix-up, LA Knight gets taken out by Rick Boogs, so no chemistry, let me say that. No chemistry there for that little tag team that they had going on. So, of course, Street Profits, they take advantage, Montez Ford, he hits a splash from the top ropes, gets the 1-2-3 on Rick Boogs, and that's the end of that one. They kind of walk out the stage or up the stage, mocking Rick Boogs, flexing and everything like that. So that's kind of a good way to go about that. But turn back a little bit, we do get LA Knight, he gives Rick Boogs a hug, and I guess you could say kind of congratulating him, I guess you could say. But in the end of this, we get a LA Knight turn on Rick Boogs. He gives him a BFT, kind of just tells him that he's trash and everything like that. And yeah, we get a good little, what would you say, future matchup that we can get out of this. So it's kind of interesting that they're kind of just going about making new feuds. So, it's a good thing for me. You see new faces going against each other and everything like that. So yeah, definitely something to look out for. But other than that, we are at another commercial break. We will come back and, of course, we'll break down what we got going for you right now. Well, before we get into anything big, let's go ahead and go over this little video package that we get with Karrion Kross real quick. Of course, he does his little backstage thing, revealing who he's going to be going after. And, of course, tarot card has AJ Styles. Of course, he calls him Alan. And he says just TikTok, how his normal thing goes. And this is pretty interesting because, AJ Styles, he's just coming back. He's looking into some pretty big moments for him, I guess you could say, coming up and everything. So for him, or for Karrion Kross to kind of jump in the middle of this, I guess you could say, you never know what could happen come Night of Champions and everything like that. Maybe there's a distraction, some type of interference that kind of makes AJ Styles lose the belt. That's what I'm kind of guessing here from just seeing what's going on and everything. But yeah, Karrion Kross going after AJ Styles, I think that's a good thing because I haven't seen it before, so of course not really too familiar with it. So that would be a new face off for me, I guess you could say. And putting these two guys together, I think it's just a A+ move. You got a veteran and you got I'd say a pretty impressive wrestler in Karrion Kross and everything like that. So yeah, definitely a good way to start this off. But we also do get a matchup between Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon. I guess you could say some local talent or something like that. They're going up against, and they are the new, I guess you could say, women's tag team that came over from NXT. Of course, they are the NXT women's champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And man, they're actually pretty impressive. I like how they, in sync with each other. They got some good chemistry going on and everything like that. So yeah, definitely, I guess you could say a team to look forward to. Of course, their little gimmick that they got going on, a little dark, I guess you could say dark, I don't know, goth, I guess you could say in a way, but I don't know, man. They definitely look good together and everything, and I think they're going to bring, some good good talent over, I guess you could say. So yeah, definitely interested in seeing what they got going on and everything like that. But they do get the win here against the tag team or the other women's tag team, and they hit them, or they used the Gory Bomb, which is their finisher, I guess you could say, signature move, whatever you want to call it. But they get the 1, 2, 3, of course, give them some momentum behind them, get them going and everything like that. And like I said, they were pretty impressive. So yeah, definitely want to see what they can bring to the table with some good competition, I guess, could say, some SmackDown competition. So yeah, definitely look out for them. But after that, we do get a backstage interview with Kayla Braxton. Of course, she's talking about she basically calls out, Raquel Rodriguez. And of course, we get a little package before this showing that Liv Morgan has been hurt. So they had made Raquel basically relinquish the title belts. So now on Raw, this coming up Monday, we will have a fatal 4-way for those tag team titles right there. So definitely something to look forward to right there on Monday. I'm not a fan of this, I guess you could say, but I kind of understand everything. I feel like Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan were a good tag team together, and of course them having the belts was a perfect example of that. So kind of sucks to see, but maybe something come about this. We do have, like I said, the interview. Of course, Caleb asks like how she feels about it and everything like that. And Raquel, she just responds by saying, of course, even though they have to give up the belts, she still considers Liv Morgan a champion in her eyes, I guess you could say. And we get a little interruption, Damage Control, basically Io Sky and Bailey. They come over, interrupt, just basically saying, Dakota Kai actually got hurt in that same match, and it was a little bit more severe. So maybe we should be giving some like applause, prayers over to her as well. But then she also goes by saying that she's looking forward to whoever Raquel tag teams with for this match, and she's going to be waiting for him in the ring. Taps Io Sky and basically, does her little laugh, I guess you could say, and just walks away. But other than that, man, I'm kind of course, interested to see who's going to win that. I wouldn't say hoping, but definitely like the Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, I felt like they could have been in that picture, I guess you could say. So, I don't know. Maybe they can get some momentum going behind them and get themselves in that little contention right there. Because, yeah, I do believe that they'd be a pretty good tag team championship team right there for sure. But we are at another commercial. See what's going to happen after this, and we'll break it down for you. But following that, of course, we come back from the commercial break and everything, and we get the new face, our United States champion, I guess you could say, Austin Theory, and I guess he is promoting a ATL, Austin Theory Live segment here, and, he just comes out, basically talks about, like, what happened last week, and kind of just goes about him getting beat up by Sheamus and Brock Lesnar at the same time, and he was just curious. He was saying that he thought that he saw so many like similarities in him and Sheamus, started by strength, size and stuff like that. And of course, just kind of, just kind of going about his business. And of course, here comes Sheamus, his music hits and everything like that. The interesting part to me, he just comes out, doesn't say a word, broad kicks Austin Theory, and just leaves, Walks out, giving a little smirk and everything like that. And I just thought it was brilliant, like I said, just came out, did what he had to do, and left. Wasn't worried about, like, talking too much, more about just action, right then and there type stuff. So that was pretty interesting to me. Of course, we do or it is announced that we're going to get a match next week on next Friday on SmackDown, of course, Sheamus against Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Also, we get following that, I guess you could say, rather than what else we get? It's the match between the LWO and the Usos, I guess you could say, in Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. And we do get a little video package. Paul Heyman, he approaches the Usos and basically just comes up to him. Jimmy asks, or he basically just tells him, the Tribal Chief forgives you and everything like that for what had happened. And Jimmy asks, okay, that's good. Are y'all going to be there ringside, to watch, or be there for the match and everything? And Paul Heyman, he basically just goes, no, not doing all that. The Tribal Chief is too busy, given the fact that he has stuff coming up. And, you can see the little facial expressions that, you get kind of a little disappointed. Jay, he's basically just back there like trying to pump himself up, not even giving a worry about it, I guess you could say. And, you could tell it's more affecting Jimmy in a way, because I don't know if there's like more of like a situation happening between him and Roman, given the fact that, Jimmy hasn't been living up to his word, I guess you could say, dedicating like wins and everything like that. So, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but I do understand like the being disappointed, not having them at your ring or in your corner, I guess you could say. So Paul Heyman, he basically just tells him, like I was saying, no, that he's not going to be there. And they just both hit him with one of the yeet type stuff, walk out. And, of course, being announced, LWO comes out, Usos come out. And that's where we are right now in the show. So, yeah, we're going to let this play out, and we'll break it down for you here in a sec. Oh, man, this right here was a good match. I can't even complain about it. There was so many close counts, back and forth. Didn't really know who was going to win this. Of course, Usos, they're still looking good. It sucks that they're on this little downward spiral, what Wade Barrett would say, and, taking these L's and everything like that. But this one I kind of felt like what wasn't in the hands of them just losing. Of course, there was, some good momentum shifts. LWO, they definitely look good as well, given the fact that they're kind of just not getting used to each other and everything. But Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, they just gel well together and everything. So, I feel like it's just I guess you could say a nice little tag team that they got going. Other than that, like I was saying, a numbers game kind of just like turns into the ultimate factor on this, because we get a distraction from Kevin Owens, and of course Sami Zayn, he comes out on the other side of the ring while the ref is distracted paying attention to Kevin Owens, and kind of just helps the whole situation play into the part of the Rey Mysterio getting a 619 on Jimmy, and it kind of just like goes from there. Of course, Santos, he does a splash from the top of the rope. He gets the 1, 2, 3, and of course they get the win and everything. So I felt like Usos, they definitely had this in the bag at the end of the match. I felt like they were the team that was looking to win and everything. And just a quick little switch up, distraction. LWO gets it, numbers game. And of course, want to kind of just point out, Jimmy asking Paul Heyman if the Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa would be there at the ringside. And if you think, if they were there rather than just sitting backstage, because obviously they were just watching from the locker room on the TV and everything like that. So they were there. It's not like they couldn't have been outside to help or anything. But I definitely felt like that would have been a better situation, but for it to play out, I mean, of course, Solo, I mean, he looks a little disappointed. He tries to get up. Roman Reigns holds him back, tells him not to go out and anything like that. So I don't know what kind of little game Roman is playing right now. Maybe he's just trying to get Usos back into the rhythm. But then again, I mean, if the whole bloodline's out there, you don't have a situation that comes about. You have a, what would you say, even match still, even though Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out, they still be able to manage all that. But for it to just happen like this, I mean, it kind of feels like, I don't know, like Roman Reigns, he's not just there to back his cousins anymore, just because they lost the belt and everything. I just don't get the whole situation that they got on. It's kind of disappointing watching, especially seeing Roman just sitting backstage watching all this come about, I guess you could say. You got the match coming up. You can definitely do with the, what would you say, putting a little beat down on them, get yourself going, better opportunity, I guess you could say. You never know what could have came about that. But yeah, that was the end of the match right there. I mean, of course, that's how the show goes off and everything. And of course, I mean, like I said, this was a good start to this show, good end to the show. The way that, the beginning was about good 20 minutes. This last match was about good 20 minutes, and it all involved the bloodline and the story that they got going on. So I felt like this was a good strong start, good strong finish. So definitely looking forward to next week and everything. But that is the end of the show for us. Of course, like I said, I've been running this solo. I am saying us because, of course, Mike, he's still part of this and everything like that. He just got a little going on downstairs, so I understand that. Hopefully, Celtics get the dub here. They definitely could use it. Shout out. But other than that, yeah, this was the end of the show. I would like to thank all the listeners and everything like that for making this a part of your week, I guess you could say. And, of course, all the Discord, Patreon members, definitely give y'all a shout out. I mean, we are doing y'all's thing over there, definitely keeping everybody updated. And it's always good to hear y'all, it's good stuff. Kind of gives us some ideas to bounce off and everything. So, I mean, keep doing y'all's thing over there. It's much appreciated. But other than that, definitely give a shout out to Mike on his football function. They're in the off season, kind of moving, trying to pump out as much episodes that I can see. I mean, it's some good stuff. But other than that, definitely want to close out the show like that. And yeah, hope y'all have a good weekend and enjoy it.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.